now we are.
There we are.
Yeah. Oh, I see the little thing come up on the screen with that little eye, and right now it's got a big fat 0. So hopefully, without too much information, the markets have just hit 0, and that's what it's telling us.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so we got 4 people watching already. G'day, guys. How you going? We're just going to have a little bit of a quick chin wag here while some more people are arriving. Should be a good show today. How you doing, Neil?
I am awesome. I'm awesome. I'm excited. Lots to talk about. Lots been going on since the 7 days we last got together. So I don't know. Let's see what transpires. I think there's actually too much going on for us to get everything. But I'm really excited about the sourdough recipe that you're going to share with me.
Well, that's actually an old secret, that one. But that's no. We'll let that out. I love sourdough. I love sourdough. The first year of lockdown. Listen to us, because we're in like year 3. The first year of lockdown, I went and became a artisan baker. I loved making bread and. Hey guys, let us know how our levels are out there. Hopefully, I've got mine sorted out. I found out what the freaking problem was. I'm going to show everyone. Now this headset I've got on here is a Sennheiser headset, and it's noise cancelling, and they're $450 a set. This one, these Marshall ones, this is what I was using. This is a $50 headset. This is the freaking difference, because this, I was picking up so much noise from these that when I had my mic at the right volume, like this, it sounded so super loud I could hear myself breathing. I could almost hear the gears ticking over in my head. So, yeah, that was the problem, guys. So hopefully let us know. I see McSeedman's out there. It's good to see you here, brother. Yeah, let us know if our levels are good. I know mine should be okay, but compared now to Neil, is Neil too quiet or are we good? So Neil, you probably need to speak a little bit, mate. Yeah,
no, I
perfect.
think you'll find the levels should be fine based on the other times that I used to listen to you and Harin. You know, you always seem to be the quieter one. There was always something going on with it. Apparently, there's that headset all the time.
No, it's actually because I am the quiet one. I'm quiet and reserved, and I like to stay in the background.
Yeah, sure.
Mostly. Hey, Neil, so guys, what was that?
Neil has no echo. That's perfect.
Yeah, good. Have I got one? Oh, Neil has an echo.
Oh.
You shouldn't have.
Read as well. It's my dyslexic coming in.
I can't hear one.
No. But you've spelt my name wrong. It's Neil. That's probably why there's an echo.
Mate, you did that, not me.
No, that was Mick. Mick spelt it with the.
Oh, right, yeah, Niall.
I'm in D, Niall.
Isn't that in Egypt? Yeah. Oh, the puns keep coming. This is the dad joke hour. Oh, welcome. If you're just joining us for the first time, we sit here for an hour and just tell stupid dad jokes. That's not actually true. Guys, for those just tuning in, my name's Andrew, this is Neil, and this is Under the Rug, where we talk about the things that we believe have been swept under the rug. Now, anything that you hear here today or any other of our podcasts are our opinions, and we do encourage you to go out and continue your own research or do your own research. Now, actually, I got a sent a video the other day, Neil, and I've literally just posted it into the Under the Rug Telegram chat. So, guys, if you look at the link under the video here in Facebook, there is a link to the Telegram chat. If you do want to jump in there, then that is very cool. Certainly go and do that. And we've actually set something else up today as well. We do have a phone here that people will be able to call in on and have a chat with us. The only problem with that right now is that Neil can't... Neil can hear you, but you won't be able to hear Neil when he's talking on the phone. And there will be about a 15-second delay, so it's not like you'd be able to wait for him to hear what he said on the video. Anyway, so we share our opinion. We definitely go and encourage you to do your own research, because that's pretty important. And I think, mate, Neil, what do you reckon? Over the last 100 years, 110, 115 years, we've slowly but surely given all our responsibility away to an imaginary power called the government, right? So no one's responsible for their own language anymore, their own words, which is absolute bullshit. So, yeah, go out and definitely do your own research.
Yeah, well, we're going to give a little bit more in depth about our backgrounds and where we came from to get to here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Neil puts a good point. Actually, we guys, we're always really, really nervous when we come out and do this. So we've been literally on the phone since 6 a.m. this morning. No, that's not quite true. We did jump on a little bit earlier and said, look, I know there's a lot of people watching this initially. Great, guys. Thank you. Love you being here each and every week. That do know us. However, there's probably going to be some people in the future, and maybe even already, has watched the video and they go, who are these two freaking clowns? So today, the title of the video is Amnesty. Is it a thing? So we're going to have a quick talk about that. Yeah, I am going to share the sourdough recipe, okay, guys? It's brilliant if you want to go and make it. Does take time. But first of all, let's get to know each other. So, Neil, mate, I'm not just going to say, oh, just tell us who you are. I want to try and lead this a little bit. So tell us who you are. No. Look, for those who you don't know, I've known Neil for better part of 10, 11 years. Oh, was it quite that long? Not quite that long. 7, 8 years. We met at an event. I was speaking at it. We connected at a different level straight away. We both knew that there was something up in the world and weren't afraid to talk to each other about it, which was really great. So I've got great respect for this guy. He's definitely one of my biggest mentors. But Stilo, just tell us a little. So Stilo's his nickname. How did you get that nickname, Stilo? Let everybody know.
Well, yeah, I guess my email is Stilo, and it's tattooed on the side of my leg, and it's something that actually comes with quite great pride. So I guess what you're seeing here and is that we've got a couple of Kiwi boys here, coming on to I guess the international stage or the media stage, social media stage, to share our journeys. And what we've learned and discovering along the way. So, we thought we'd better, so where does Stilo come from? I represented New Zealand in softball back in the 1990, probably 1992. But prior to that, I'd been playing for the Cardinals Club in Wellington, or Hutt Valley, should I say? Don't say Wellington, Hutt Valley.
Yeah, they're different places.
For 14 years. We had my first experience winning a national title there, and we got to, we were on our way to, we got the opportunity to represent New Zealand on the club scene, but at a global tournament or international tournament in Japan. So we'd done a lot of fundraising and got over there. But anyway, we never got there. We ended up having we were doing it on the cheap. One of the top guys in the club had got us some rental cars, and we were able to return these back to Auckland for like $20 and just fill them up with gas. Anyway, long story short, we had a head-on car crash on the Bombay Hills, and our driver passed away, didn't make it. I was fortunate to come out of it reasonably unscathed. I know that my hair's a bit thinning up the top there, but they've got a nice little scar they call sort of money jar that I can feel runs through the top. So the day that I can see that will be the day I know that I have to give up on the fact that I can't hold my hair there anymore. But I guess my in the team, I was at 6'2", I could run pretty quick. I could steal the bases, so hence the name Stilo. And my favourite position was centre field. So the guy that passed away, he was probably massive utility, but centre field was generally the place he played. So kind of honoured to, even though he passed, but to take that position on the team and do play well at that position. Although some of my teammates might disagree with that.
It's all right, they're not watching.
No, they're not.
They haven't got the microphone.
Yeah. But yeah, so softball, I did 14 years at top level softball, but in that time frame, I've had my own businesses down in Wellington area and exterior coatings. I was in an era down there where everybody knows Wellington is windy Wellington. And today in building sites here around New Zealand, they've all got this plastic wrap that goes around the outside of the buildings. Well, in my day, there was no plastic wrap, and we were doing spray coatings. So you imagine Wellington, we were paid to spray one house, not two. We were generally deducted for spraying two houses because we never had We never had the stuff there to stop it going all over the place. So you can
You didn't offer a
imagine.
2-for-1 special?
no, there was houses, cars, and all sorts of things would always get tied up in that. So I enjoyed that, and it was part of my experience in business and my journey towards sort of where we are today. But you certainly would I go back and do it again? No. But yeah, Wellington, Hutt Valley, Wellington. Well, let's take it back. Wainuiomata, Hutt Valley, Wellington, Auckland, and now sort of in the Bay of Plenty. So, but yeah,
finally in the Bay of Plenty.
Yeah,
the best place. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but you you're kind of like I knew I was going to have three daughters. There was never any boys in the mix, just like when we're going through that whole process. And I've got three lovely daughters, and all successful in their own rights. And they'll be, if they were listening to this, they'll be rolling their eyes going, Dad, what are you doing now? And they're still a little bit behind the eight ball. I guess they've sort of been part of the indoctrinated system or process of into the global education dumbing down process of little robots walking around doing as they're told or not being asked any questions.
I love the way you say that, the indoctrination, because that's it. And most people don't realize that's some of the shit that's been swept under the rug. It's a complete indoctrination process right from the time they're 5 years old and able to go to school.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it's hey, there's still hope. I mean, I went to school at 5 and so did you. And, well, I broke out of the system, so...
Well, I'm, my youngest daughter, she's just in the process of, she's been a teacher's aide, and she's in the process of applying to be a teacher. So I'm excited for her in the coming years as she gets introduced into the new teaching platforms, because I'm sure we've got some new ones coming, which will be far more user-friendly as in educating our children to question everything, and to get on with life and enjoy it, not to be put in a square box and told what you can and can't do. So I'm excited for the future to come with the new systems that are shortly to present themselves with any luck. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit about me. It's only really a really snippet. There's a lot more that has gone on.
Yeah, absolutely. We've only got so much time on the show, mate.
Come on. Yeah, okay.
Kidding.
Your turn.
Yeah, my turn. Well, guys, for those of you who don't know me, I am the youngest of 4 siblings. I did have a mother and a father, and now I've only got a father. My mum passed over just over 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago, coming up, and that was really when I put down a lot of shit I was carrying. It turns out I've picked up a little bit more shit since, but I put down a lot of the stuff that I was carrying at that time. So the youngest of 4, was the only boy. So if you've ever seen that movie with Mel Gibson, What Women Want, I kind of feel like that sometimes. Like I can read minds, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, because it also made me super, super sensitive. And Neil said it last week, I do wear my heart on my sleeve very much. And if you've pissed me off, or if I'm upset about something, then even if I don't say anything, my face decides that it will. So that's kind of me there in that respect. I wouldn't say that I was a sporty person at school, but looking back, I probably was a lot more capable than I gave myself credit for. I too represented New Zealand at a national level, racing IRBs, which is the little orange boats that you see on the beach for the surf club. I was quite good at that. I loved that. I did that from the time I was 18 right through to, in fact, probably 17 through to about 22. And then I just got too busy with life and with work. And it's funny, when I was young at the surf club, Neil, I was like 14-year-old rocking around, and you always people in the club that you looked up to, that you idolized, and all of a sudden they start coming less and less, and you're like, man, I'm never going to let that happen to me. I'm going to be here. I'm in surf club through and through. I'm in it for life. I'm here. And then you get old and you go, oh, I now understand. It just doesn't work out like that. So I joined the military at 17. I did 5 tours of duty overseas, one of which I was CASEVAC'd out of the country. If you know what CASEVAC is, it's casualty evacuation. I damaged my knee. I'm pretty sure it was my right ACL. I was meant to have surgery. I never did, which I'm now starting to pay for, believe it or not. But that I was very idealistic. I joined the military because I guess deep down I wanted to make a difference. But what I've realized recently is that a lot of the steps that I did throughout my life, I did for other reasons. Now, I wanted to join the Air Force, absolutely. I wanted to join the Air Force as a fitter welder. What I ended up joining the Air Force as a mechanic. How I ultimately saw my Air Force career going was that I was going to be air crew before I left. Now, I tried, somebody said, oh, you'd make a really good PDI. So, I'm going to remuster the PDI, physical training instructor. So I did that. So I spent a lot of my life listening to other people or listening to the ideas other people had for me and not really chasing what I should have been doing. The last 5 years, 6 years have been completely different. 7 years, no, 5 years. I turned 40. Mum died. I turned 40. So they've been different, right? I've been taking things to a different level in my own life. Now, the last 12 months for me they've been heavy. They've been dark. But that said, they got me to where I am right now, and that was something that needed to happen. It's part of my journey. So, guys, I guess from that, if you're going through some shit, and I'm paraphrasing Winston Churchill, he said, if you're going through hell, keep going, right? If you're going through some shit, just keep going, because there's light on the other side of it, and it shapes who you become and who you are, all right? So it's all part of that character. So I got married in 2008. I've now got 3 children. One's 22. She's just about to head overseas again, and a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old. And they're both boys, and they are me split down the middle, sadly. Harlan's my very gregarious side, and Emerson's my very sensitive side. And unfortunately, I know it will do them both well, but they have to. I guess they have to learn the other side of that, which is cool. It's something that I can help them with. And here we are. Look, I think the last 3 years. Again, guys, opinion. I think that the last 3 years that we've been through is absolute bullshit. I think we've had the wool pulled over our eyes, and I'm not prepared to stay silent about it anymore. And I think that kind of brings us to the current day.
Mm-hmm. Well, the last 3 years, and it's the real beginning of the Great Awakening.
Yeah,
and there's a process for everything. And everything. There's some of the stuff that we've been watching today. We're learning there's a process to everything, and unfortunately, those processes don't necessarily work out in the time frame we want them to. But if you know who's in control of the processes and the reasoning behind it, then what we've got to look forward to is really, really exciting. But it's knowing there's a process. The Great Awakening is for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's to take us through to a better place, a better world, where we all dream of being.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that we've got to go through some shit to get there. And there was a movie I saw. There was a clip to a movie that I saw. And it's like, humanity doesn't change until the precipice. And that you see that in everyday life. People when they get the big, they visit the doctor and they get the big C, like, oh, that's it, and they don't look to make change until it's too late. And that's the point in human history where we're at right now. Is the point of massive change, and it's uncomfortable. Change has never been comfortable, but we have to get uncomfortable to move through that change, and that's what we're seeing now. And certainly, the US was certainly at the forefront of that yesterday on the 8th. Well, they've been at the forefront for a while, but more so yesterday. But yeah, let's before we sort of delve into some of that stuff, we're going to lead out with amnesty.
Yep.
And the other part of that,
and we'll go from that. So all this talk about amnesty for COVID mistakes reminds me of all the organ transplants that were denied for the unjabbed. How many died because of this deliberate discrimination by the hands of the medical mafia? So, guys, why have I put that up? Well, I put that up as because I think it's a discussion worth having. Now, I don't know your status watching this, whether you took the juice or you didn't take it. I personally didn't. I was never going to. And if they'd tried to force me down and vaccinate me, I'd probably be in jail for murder, because that's how strongly I feel about it. I don't think it'll ever get to that, personally, with what I believe that's going on in the background. But what are your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, who's Dr. McCullough? And if I go back, jeepers, at the beginning of the internet almost,
Geez,
I
are you that old?
was, well, no, yeah, probably,
Sorry,
yeah.
carry on.
But like I was sort of searching on the internet, certain health topics and stuff like that, and this guy kept popping up in my screen, kept popping up, and in the end, I selected and I clicked on the link, and Dr. McCullough is probably one of the few, or one of the earliest that I know of doctors that stepped out of mainstream medicine because he didn't believe the direction it was going. Wasn't there to heal people. It was there to just put a plaster on it and keep you sick and keep you coming back.
Is he the guy that said if you want to live a long, healthy life, then stay away from doctors? Is he that guy?
I could be. I'm not sure.
There's definitely a physician that said that.
Oh, he's a plethora of knowledge on all health topics, and certainly. So he was probably my first mentor in the alternative health industry, or markets. Way back, it would have to be 20 years ago, easily over 20 years ago, probably nearly 30 years ago. And he's still there today. So to see him out there, I mean, he's been ostracized through this whole pandemic, and
as many of the trusted physicians, some of them were previous experts, right? Trusted physicians have been, and that's why there's thousands and thousands of doctors that have banded together to go, no, this is not right. I mean, what we're starting to see now too, Neil, with the evidence that's coming out that we knew was always there, but now starting to hit the mainstream, they're just dripping it. I'm still astounded at that. Particularly here, they're still pushing that narrative. I'm like, surely everyone knows that it was a joke by now, don't they? I mean,
yeah, well, it's not a joking matter, though, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. And like, there's a paper in the States. I want to say it's the Independent, but I don't know that that's quite correct. But I've seen a juxtaposition of, and I wish I had the photo. I'd bring it up. In fact, I might let you talk, and I'll go and try and find it because I have got it somewhere. But there's a juxtaposition of what they were saying 18 months ago about the people that decided to continue with their bodily autonomy, right? Who still wanted that free choice, and the disparaging things that they were saying about how they should be cast out from society, how they should be in jail, because they're putting everyone else at risk. What was actually, what was actually putting people at risk was people's ignorance. Right, let's be honest. But they were putting people at risk, and there was just a whole heap of headlines that they had. And then last week they come out and said, "Oh, I think we didn't have all the facts. We need to have an amnesty." What do you think?
Well, I guess everything that I've been watching, and it comes down to the Nuremberg Code.
Bring that shit on.
And it's like, if I didn't, like that's an excuse. I didn't know. I was only following orders. I ain't going to cut the mustard. And, there's going to be different levels of, what's the word, ratification or clarification or
justice.
Justice, yeah. And
you can say it, justice.
And that's what needs to happen. And, I like, there's families divided through all of this. I'm probably fortunate that the majority of my family were awake, and probably the first lockdown I was able to, share some information with my girls, and they became a little bit more awake. But still, as we move forwards and things sort of relax, they were part of the system, and of doubting that. But they're clean bloods, apart from one who was coerced because of partners and a job, and needing to do that. So I was really from that, and if the worst happens, which is a potential, I was fucking angry.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, and I was really like, I'm a great big softie. If any of you have ever met me,
Yeah, absolutely. Big
wouldn't
teddy
hurt a
bear.
fly. But when it comes to family being intimidated and controlled for something that I know from my heart is not good, and was detrimental to their health, then I was basically I was ready to kill.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
hang on,
remember. I remember
that's
the
probably the wrong
conversations.
word to use, but
Yeah.
harsh. It was literally when we found out, it was like a death in the family. Everybody was in tears. Like, what do we do with this?
Yeah,
I remember
sadly for a lot of people, bro, that's definitely something they're gonna have to contend with. Me too. You know, my sisters did. I'm pretty sure. I know at least one of their husbands did. Probably both. My oldest didn't, and my father didn't. But there's things we're probably gonna have to come to terms with. I remember being on a call with Dolores Cahill. Professor Dolores Cahill. I was literally on a call with her because we were looking at something for another company that I used to be involved with, and she said she shared her reviews with her peers, and she said, from what I can see, people are probably going to have 5 to 10 years, and they laughed at her. And when she told me the story and she laughed at it, I was like, oh yeah, because that's. They laughed at it and they said, no. And it's not really a laughing matter, but they said your figures are wrong. It's probably closer to 2 to 5 years. And I think that's really freaking sad because we were so fucking lied to. Hey, on that note, Sam I put it up, flashed it up on the screen before. Emily Oyster wrote the Amnesty article in the Atlantic, and she is the very one that said all the other shit. You should go. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Sam, if you can send me, if you've got those photos, send them to me, and I'll bring them up so that people can see them.
But just to finish off from where I was going, when we found out that she'd taken the jab, and my other daughter rang me up. She was on her way to see her. She pulled over the side of the road and go, "Dad, what do I do? I can't, And I said, you need to go and see her, and you need to hold her, and give her a hug, and tell her you love her.
Yeah,
And that was a real tough time. Sorry, that's not meant to say. I'm going to talk about that sort of stuff today, but we're fortunate at this point that there's no side effects, and hopefully that there's a placebo or whatever that's gone on out there. But
there was definitely a lot of those given, which is going to be saving grace for a lot of people. But there is a protocol you can take, don't you? You told me about it. It's out of New Zealand. Is that where it originated, or is he just the agent for it?
No, he's the agent. I guess probably won't want us talking about it. But
that's all right. We won't say too much. But if you want to know about it, we can talk about it in the under the rug chat group. Yeah. But just suffice to know, if you know people that have and want a potential remedy, there's a protocol that you can go through that makes the graphene oxide inert, and if it's inert, then your body rids itself of it. So if you guys want to know about that, then make sure you join the Telegram group. I want to come back to a second for the Nuremberg trials, bro.
Yeah.
Now, what happened at the Nuremberg trials? Just again, what happened?
You're talking about the original ones?
The original ones. Yeah.
Well, my understanding is, if you were found guilty, you were straight off to the
gallows.
Yeah. There's no the fact that you were just following orders doesn't cut the mustard. If you were found guilty of genocide, then you pay the consequences for that.
Yeah, and look, I think I actually said it, and I got ridiculed for it probably 18 months ago, probably closer to 2 years ago. I posted something on Facebook saying about how this is tantamount to genocide. And I think Senator Malcolm Roberts in Australia has literally said the same thing in Parliament. So watch this space, unfortunately. But why I wanted you to go back to the Nuremberg trials is given the name of the podcast is right, it's under the rug. What a lot of people don't realize, I mean, yes, they hung what was the commander of the Luftwaffe? Goering?
One of those German names.
So a lot of the high level officers got taken out. Obviously, Hitler committed suicide, just like Jeffrey Epstein, and he wasn't able to stand trial. Now, a lot of high ranking officials did. However, and they also made a lot of scapegoats. So media which they deserve to, let's be honest. But it was a lot of the low-level people that got taken out. So nurses, media, and in some cases that might not necessarily should have happened, right? However, the scientists that created all this shit, that really, this is how we're going to... Whether it actually happened or not is still up for debate. And I'm going to just putting that out there right now. That's, again, my opinion. But the scientists that are supposedly responsible for creating that shit, they all got shipped off to the States under paperclip. They become the head of NASA, the head of, and just crazy.
You go and follow the lineage of some of the people at high level up there, and it goes back. You trace it back, it goes back to those eras of genocide.
Sorry, I'm snorting. I just got it. Okay, if you can see in the chat, guys, Andrew Tweltree sent me a photo of the Amnesty 3000. Just need to share that. That's the there's your Amnesty. Sorry. Oh, shit, that's funny.
Well, I've actually read in some places that there's a lot of guillotines placed up, set up and around the world.
Well, yeah. I wonder what that could be for.
It's like, we're not used to seeing public, what would be the word? Public elimination or persecution. And the other week, or a few weeks ago, I was up in Auckland, down at Devonport, and we were walking along the waterfront there, and there's a plaque just under one of the trees. And there was on that point there, and it would have been the early 1900s, I think, there was somebody hanged there at that point for wrongdoings or whatever done at that time in that era. So it's like, they were there, a lot of that happened. Yeah, I'm with you, Mick. For those that Mick's written Bring Back the Death Penalty, and for those that have created what we're going through now, or been through, coming out the other side of, there needs to be consequences. And so, right back to amnesty. No, you've created the trauma you've created globally is not something that you can walk away from and live a normal life at all. And that's at any level that you've partaken in this, whether you were following orders. It's like
that's right. There's no excuse. And being ex-military, I know on attestation day, right, which is the day you attest, it's the day you sign your life away, essentially. On attestation day, they remind you, because when you go through basic training or recruit course, whatever you want to call it, you go through military law, you go through general service knowledge, which is what happened back when, so you know a bit of your history. But military law is a big one, right? There's a whole heap of different subjects, bushcraft and drill, PT, whatever. But military law, they hammer home that it is your duty as a serviceman to disobey an unlawful order. Now, that stems from the Nuremberg Code. So, for all these policemen, soldiers, whatever, airmen, sailors, I was just following orders, it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. It can't be. Because you're told, do not, under any circumstances, obey an unlawful order. Now, you could go, well, I didn't know if it was lawful or not. Well, if they're telling you to go and take away people's autonomy or rights, then it's probably not a lawful order, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, thanks, Sam.
There's just so much on so many different levels. We're really bloody scratching the surface. I think any topic that we bring up in here, we're only scratching the surface. And when you really dig deep and deeper into this, it's just utter fucking bullshit. From when you get into the darker gallows down there. These people that have been doing all this just absolutely hate our guts with all their might. Andrew Daniels is asking, what are your thoughts on Ricardo Bossi and his opinions where he were to get into power? Anybody that's awake to the deceit that's been going on, I think would be voted in for the right reasons. And he's there to rid the planet of this pure evil, and if they've sort of put their hand up, some of them will put their hand up and go, yeah, I did that and I love doing it and I'll do it again anyway. Was that? See ya.
Yeah, absolutely.
Andrew, send them off to Andrew Twelfthtree and his guillotine.
Look, my thoughts on Ricardo. I'll be honest. I'll be totally honest. Somebody told me about him 2 years ago, and they said, "Oh, you've got to get on with it. He says the same things that you say, Andrew. I mean, he's awake. He knows what's going on." And I was sort of like, okay. And I'll be honest, at that time, I've been incredibly trusting throughout my life, probably too trusting, and it's been to my detriment at times. So I went through a very big period of not trusting anyone, right? And I'm sort of on the back of that. But I was like, I don't know. And I watched it, was like, I don't really get into it. But I went to Canberra at the start of the year, and Sam Cargo, who's also on here, he was also down there with us. It was a great trip. In fact, we camped out at the same place. Sam saved us a camping spot. It was awesome. And I listened to Ricardo, and that day sealed it for me. As far as I was concerned, Ricardo was legitimate. He was 100%. He was for the people. Because he said things, probably because he spoke with such conviction about what he was saying. It's like he knew what was coming. Not he was like, this is what I think's coming. He spoke to what other things that I've heard from different channels, right? He spoke to things for that, and it was like, shit, he's not saying this is what he hopes will happen. This is what's going to happen in this country. So for me, I like him. I don't think he craves power. I think to me, he's a little bit like Trump. He wants to give power back to the people. Now, regardless of what you think personally about Trump, the media made him out to be something he's not. Now, is he a perfect guy? No, we've all got freaking flaws. All of us. Every single one of us. And I love it in the Bible. It says, he without sin should cast the first stone, because nobody should be fucking throwing stones. Nobody could stand there and say they haven't done shit, right? So I like Trump, and I believe he's giving... his intention is to give the power back to the people, which is where it freaking should be anyway. And I believe that Bossi's doing the same thing. I like Ricardo Bossi, and I like the way he doesn't pull punches when he speaks. He just says it as it is.
Yeah, I like the fact that you brought that up, and you brought Trump up. You know, two big land masses on the planet, with two great men with integrity. Up there speaking from their hearts. You know, you can feel it when they speak. You know, here in New Zealand, you know, there's not kind of one person or group sort of stepping up that sort of then taking the stage like these two great men are. But there are splinter groups throughout New Zealand, so there's a lot of momentum going on behind the scenes, and I don't know if that's New Zealand character and the way that we are down here. But yeah, and I'm pretty sure I've heard that some of the splinter groups have been coming in and watching our podcast. So sort of welcome you guys.
Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to the party. Hope you got your popcorn.
Yeah. But you know, I guess kind of trying to move the whole conversation forwards and back to currently where we're at, with what's going on in the current form, and certainly it feels like there's something bigger coming.
Yeah, and I think it's close. Like you and I both watched that. I watched it twice. I watched it a second time with you, so you could see it. That Simon Parkes video this morning, his latest update.
Yeah,
and you know, it echoes a lot of the conversations I've been having in the last 48, 72 hours about us being pretty close to the end, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess, and that's the thing is, you know, I wish we could put a date and say things. We don't have a clue at the end of the day. None of us watching this have a clue. We're just exercising our patience to the extremities.
Yeah.
But where was I going with that?
Oh, sorry, I distracted you by bringing Emily in.
Oh, no, that's all right. What have we got there? What's she saying?
So I'm disheartened by the number of emails this morning from people whose doctors or whose parents' doctors told them not to get juiced because we don't know much about it. And then this one.
Just sharing people who haven't got vaccinated. It's not like
or ever. What will? Like, you know, she deserves an amnesty like I was going to say like Zelensky deserves an Oscar, but he got one this morning from Sean Penn. He does it because he's acting. He's doing a great job at acting.
Oh, have you seen those things with him on the green screen and being directed
yeah.
wow.
It's a joke. It's quite
Yeah.
funny, laughable.
So what I was alluding to was, and you're already seeing it in the States, and it's probably an indication we're getting closer to the next level of some form of lockdown or something going on, something big happening. You're seeing diesel going through the roof. The price of diesel here in New Zealand is higher than the price of 91. You're seeing diesel being run out in the States in areas where there's no diesel at the pumps.
Yep.
And I had some information from a good friend here in the Bay of Plenty that there's only been one fuel container come into port for the month when there's normally 11. So if you think about definitely things happening. Of course, he got that information from a good political source. So definitely big things. If you think about, the world distribution platform runs on diesel. So the diesel trucks can't get out there and deliver the goods and services, then you're going to shut it down.
Yep.
So just a heads up on that. Make sure
Stock
you keep your fuel tanks full,
Have some
your
jerry
gas
cans on
barbecue full,
Yep.
and plenty of water. Plenty of water in storage, quality water if you can, ideally.
Yeah, and guys, on that, if you've got a bath in your house, I thought about this last week. If you get there, if an emergency broadcast comes out, and because I know they've tested it in Brisbane, they've tested it in Sydney, interesting. Never seen it before in years. But guys, if it happens, you're gonna have a 3-hour window. They've told you to get home. So while there's still water running, we don't know. Water may continue to be supplied. You don't know. But while you do have water running, if you've got a bath, fill it up. You might go, oh, why? Because you can then take from that to boil it if you need to. I don't say drink it out of the bath, but certainly fill it up so that you've got it to boil it if you need to. So that's just something you can do. Fill up buckets, anything else. Hey, coming back to Marsden Point, right? Now, for those Australians who don't know what Marsden Point is, Marsden Point was a refinery in New Zealand that used to produce our own energy. It's closed. And they closed it earlier this year, and there was a whole heap of protests. So all of this is by design, is where I'm going with this. This whole energy shit that's going to come upon us has all been by design. And it's all for one thing. It's all, opinion, guys, it's my opinion. It's all to be able to control you. It's the same with the food supply. Oh, we could talk about that. Remember I told you yesterday about Walmart getting rid of all its food? We can come back. Let's circle back to that. No, but guys, it's all by design. And then all this bullshit that's going on in the Ukraine, again, it's not going the way they would like it to. Now, what you've also got to think about is the European banks. They're the ones that are delaying this whole SWIFT thing. Oh, no, we're not ready till March, which is actually bollocks. You and I watched the video this morning to show that that everybody's they're ready. They're ready. 99% of the banks they've already got all the protocols in place. I know there's a whole heap of banks in here in Australia, here on the Gold Coast, that have said, oh, their branches have been closed because they've been upgrading their system. I wonder what they've been upgrading their system for. Which is something we're probably going to talk about next week with QFSG, Jasara and Asara, all that sort of thing. But let's continue where we are here. All of that's by design. I don't know if you picked up or not, but in Australia 3 weeks ago, the RBA come out and said, oh, we're bust. Most people missed that. I don't know if I've said this before on any one of our episodes, but we're bust. They are insolvent. They have no money. That's what that means. We're bust. We're broke. We're bankrupt. Now, all the central banks, they all get their banks, all get their money from overseas. The Federal Reserve in the States can no longer print money. They haven't been able to for quite some time. The European banks can't do it. They've got no money. That's literally cutting the head off the snake for this battle that's been going on for the last 1,000 freaking years. Now, there's a good it can be monotonous because there's no real pictures or anything going on the screen. They're just reading a blog post. But it's the history of the Khazarian Mafia. It's on Rumble. Go and check it out. It's about 54 minutes long, 54 and 3 seconds, or somewhere around there. Definitely worth having a watch. It'll explain where we are now. In fact, I'll post it into the Telegram chat too. So if you haven't yet joined that Telegram, The link is below the video here. Go and join it. But yeah, all by design, Neil.
Well, it's all they're herding us in a certain direction, and I guess it's those that are awake and aware of it and probably pushing back, but with not much help with family and friends around them, which is what makes it so much more difficult. As the black sheep, I suppose. Let's we know what we need to do. We're at a point where we can't help everyone. We can only sort of do what needs to be done with our sort of with those that are awake with us and listening, and it's just being prepared for everything where they're herding us in this direction. Now, my personal hope is that herding is into martial law, because when we've got martial law, that is a good thing. That means that we are another step closer to the golden age, or the unraveling of all the bullshit, all the deceit, all the lies and everything. And while when martial law happens, they'll be just taking out the rest of the rubbish. So we need to be mindful for our own safety. And but it's so. Yeah, we're herded or guided. Maybe guided is a better term.
Yeah.
For our own good, and we just have to trust in the bigger plan of what's going on here, which has been, it's been happening not just for the last 2 or 3 years.
It's been happening for millennia. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to laugh. I was talking with a colleague yesterday, and we literally had this conversation about, it's going to be so good, the transfer of wealth. We're going to be able to do all these great projects for humanity. We're not going to be constricted by the current things that are constricting us from being able to go out and do things and live our life. People will be able to live their life the way they like it. And I said, yeah, it's going to be magic, and there's going to be this utopian place. And then I went, or we're all the victims of a massive psyop, and we're fucked anyway. But then I went, but I did follow that up with, and if that's the case, I'm taking as many with me as I can go, as I can take.
I wish we'd actually. Simon Parkes put out 6 different scenarios. One of which
7.
Was it? Yeah, he threw in the 7th after he did the original post.
Yep.
And everybody opted, or everybody was coming back saying option 5, option 5, option 5. I wish we actually had those options on so we could share them on the screen and actually talk about them. Maybe we can do that next time.
Maybe we can,
but,
yeah.
but he certainly came back in that episode, and we can get the link to that episode and afterwards as well. We can show his latest update, which is really pretty exciting, because I'm pretty sure I heard him say option 5 is correct.
Is what's been happening, yeah. Yep.
Which is exciting.
And guys, if you don't follow Simon Parkes, that's cool, fine. Happy that you're here with us. Option 5 was that there was military intervention. So what we're talking about is, of course, the midterm elections that just took place in the US. And, everyone's expecting this massive red wave. And to be fair, it kind of happened, but not in the way that people were anticipating. And it kind of had to be that way, because if there'd just been this complete red wave, and then people started going, election fraud, blah, 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 then they really didn't have a leg to stand on. But if you look at what's happened is, in Maricopa County in particular, it looks like on prima facie evidence that there's some interference. So there had to be those little things, and there had to be. In fact, I watched a video before. I'll bring it up because I'll go and find it. But they watched live on TV as some of the things changed, and they could see the spikes and things like that. But it had to be that way for the military to be able to catch them. And I do believe that that's what's going on. Absolutely, Christine. Yep. Hello, by the way.
As Simon says, though,
thanks, Virginia.
If the red wave was successful, as everybody was anticipating it would be, then there would be no need for the military to step in. But what it's highlighted is the fact that if we're going to move through this and clear all the trash out, military's the only way it can be done. Military's got the inside and the lowdown on it, on everything, all the deceit, all the cheating, everything that's been going on there.
Just
so yeah.
So you guys can see that Josh Shapiro got 56% with 370,000 votes, and old Doug 41% with 844,000 votes. Not sure quite how that works. Sorry, I just had to share that when I'm trying to find this video.
Oh, that's just a snippet of it, and everything's been collated, and it's exciting moving that forward. So I guess that in correlation with what's going on in Brazil, I think they were going to be releasing I think the military's been involved there and releasing their results.
Yeah.
So maybe in correlation with the timing of what's happening in the States, could spring open another whole, well, let's not say spring open, but escalate this whole thing to another level, which would create everybody springing into action on so many different fronts. But it's what else is going on behind the scene, from what's happening in the stock market, what's happening in the crypto space. It's crashing. I think Bitcoin's jumped down to below its 2017 level. No, it hasn't. But it's on 2017. It went to 2,500, but it's a massive drop. But I think it's over 17% in the last 24 hours.
As it sits right now, as I'm looking at it, because I've got a live ticker down here on my Stream Deck, $16,119.70. I'm just trying to find this video, guys, so you can see it live. But I'm in that many channels. I should have saved it, but I didn't, so I haven't got it. But it was essentially, it was in a studio. Well, not even in a studio, but it had Mike. It might have been Mike Lindell, I don't know. It had Mike.
I think I shared it with you on Telegram. Can I have a look on
was
Telegram?
it you that shared it?
Yeah.
There you go. So many freaking chats. Oh, there it is, right there. You're right. You did.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to share this, guys. Let me come back to here so you can see it, and then I'm going to press play. Just have a watch of this.
You're going to love this. You're going to love this. This is the Illinois Senate race. This is Tammy Duckworth's race. It not only has several impossible, what do we call them?
Real-time crime spikes. We call them crime spikes.
That was it.
Crime spikes.
And it has a back down as well, a loss of votes like nothing else yet tonight.
Wow, look at this, everybody.
That's 1 million votes up and 1 million votes down. 1 million votes here and 1 million votes there, and eventually it adds up to real.
Right.
Nothing to
okay,
see
I really
here.
want, I want this picture. I want a screenshot. Jeff, if you could send me some screenshots. I got my social.
But you get the. Oh, hold on. What did I do there? Oh, I need to come back to this. There you go. You don't need to see my calendar. But how's that?
Oh, yeah. That's two quick examples, and there's literally probably hundreds of thousands of them. What else did I share with you on Telegram? I sent you a few things through this morning, I think.
Oh, heaps.
Yeah, lots of talking points.
Very significant seismic unrest over the next 7 to 10 days. That's something to look at.
That is massive. The guy, oh God, what's his name? I can't remember. I followed him with his seismic predictions, and he's been bang on the money with everything that's going on. He's literally, you see them pinging off all the time while he's live. And if he's bringing these predictions out right now, he's talking global seismic unrest, to the point where making sure, just what we talked about before, making sure you've got plenty of food and water and shelter all lined up, from the seismic activity. So,
which we know can also be manipulated. So maybe that's another topic for another day. We're getting close to half past.
Yeah. Well, there's if there's somebody that probably comes in and watches this, I know a gentleman that wrote a massive article on the Christchurch earthquake, and I think he doesn't really want it out there because there's a name on the bottom of it. But the information and the things that happened just beg more questions. So it didn't sort of poke the finger,
Absolutely.
but so many correlations on so many different levels for political gain and financial gain at a level you just couldn't imagine. You're talking the Clinton Foundation being involved to that level to knock down the
they're squeaky
city.
clean though.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah. Well, we'll see.
Sorry,
Like,
I cracked myself up.
yeah.
Mick's saying Bitcoin to 14K. I reckon it's going to go lower. I reckon it'll go south of 10 grand, maybe even further.
Well, when you look at, so here's the indicators to look at.
Not financial advice, by the way.
No, exactly. But my understanding is Tether just print money or create money out of thin air.
Printer machine goes brrr.
Yeah, and then drives the price up. So they drive the price up, and then all the FOMOs get in there. It's going up, it's going up, it's going up. So everybody puts fresh money in as the value goes up, and these guys go and dump it again. So,
what did I see this morning? It was something about somebody was, I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about get something off the exchanges while you can, because you thought FTX was going to be a problem. Now something, oh man, I'm only giving you half a story, show. I probably shouldn't have said anything.
Well, I mean, they're saying like, what's the domino effect? So you look at the
Mr. Cool placed those dominoes, didn't he?
Yeah, look at the country domino effect, the banking domino effect, the health domino effect, so the crypto domino effect. And we look at these crypto exchanges. So look at the big ones that have just taken a hammering over the last several months. So FTX is just being swooped up now by Binance. So there's a bit of something else going on there. Everything's being swept into there.
Yep.
And then you've got, so what does that mean? Binance is next, maybe? I mean,
I personally think that Binance will probably survive. I don't know that many of the other ones will. This list that I saw this morning, KuCoin was on it, and Binance wasn't on it. But I already thought that Binance was probably going to be one of the ones that does survive. Yeah, but yeah.
It's like, well, I mean, I've been seeing for over 12 months, get any crypto you've got. If you've got it on an exchange, you're a bloody idiot.
Get it off
the exchanges. And, even today, here in New Zealand, we've got Easy Crypto. They've sent a message out to their members saying, or XLM, you can't withdraw XLM off the platform. And I think that's also in Coinbase. There's almost something similar come out where Coinbase isn't allowing XLM to be withdrawn.
So that's actually a good point right there. I've got the seventh option too that I'll share with everyone before we go. But that's a good point. Is if you've got anything on the exchanges at the moment, any freaking exchange, get it off. Get it onto a ledger. Get it onto Exodus. If you've got Exodus, if you haven't got Exodus, download it. Exodus is one of the ones that's going to be designated to be safe to store it on. Or it is one of the ones that's designated safe to store it on. So if you don't have a Nano a Ledger or a Trezor, then make sure that you get it off in another way. Get it off into a cold or a wallet on your computer that you control that's not on an exchange. Because even, like Neil just said it, they've frozen withdrawals of XLM. That means if they go tits up, well, your stuff's frozen on there, you lose it. It's gone. And I know that from experience from when, what was that one in New Zealand, Cryptopia, that crashed.
Yeah.
And I could never get access to it again because I couldn't remember all the coins I'd had on there. There was a couple of coins I had well into the millions of, but just, get it off the exchanges, guys. Absolutely, Andrew. I could put a link to Exodus in the Telegram. It's both iOS and, you can get it on iOS. You can also get it on like Mac and Android. Please, of course. Hey, guys, we do have a phone number here. We're too late to use it this week, but next week we will we'll be able to take calls. MetaMask's another one. I don't trust MetaMask personally, Mick, and the reason I don't trust it is because JP Morgan have a large controlling stake of it. That's just me personally. I don't trust it. Yeah. That said, I used it a lot. And it is, but I don't think it's one of the ones that's marked as safe. So I personally wouldn't use it to hold my things in long term. Certainly use it to transfer it to a Ledger or a Trezor. Yep, no problem at all. But yeah, I personally wouldn't use it. I'll just make that. I'll make that. There you go. This is option 7. Supposing there is a huge red wave and all the votes are cast and counted, putting both houses firmly in the hands of the Republic, but also the government ships and state officials who are Trump-leaning. But then Biden declares he will not honour the result, and somehow Trump is behind a false flag and the red wave is not real, so he blocks the results from becoming law. What does the military do then? And that's exactly right. But I don't, that's not what's happened, thankfully. But yeah. Hey,
who was that guy in the picture?
Some actor. some actor. So I saw a cool video this morning. It's about 5 minutes long. I posted this into the Telegram group today or this morning, and it's about a guy. Apparently, he's in an orange jumpsuit, so going to jail for something. I don't know, someone. But he was talking about the inauguration of Trump as the 19th president of the United States of America, and people go, "Oh, well, 19th, but he's 45." Yes, of the corporation. And if he was sworn in when this was suggested that he was sworn in as the 19th president, he's only 2 years through his first term, which is quite funny. I just thought that was funny. Anyway, can't confirm nor deny. I haven't seen the other video, but I'd like to. If anyone's got a copy of the other video of the inauguration, then please send it our way.
Yeah.
That's right. Guy in the picture doesn't even remember who he is. So that's in regards to here. Let's make this real for everyone now. I'll put it back up.
I've seen a picture of four different faces, and maybe the original and the ears are different. Everything's different about it. That one there was completely different again.
Yeah. Actually, we'll finish on this. We're talking the other day. I was watching a video on Carrie Lake. I love her. She just calls it as it is. She's awesome. She calls the media out. In fact, I think she even does it better than Trump did, to be fair. But she's going on about how Hillary came on stage with Obama to endorse the other candidate that was running against her, whatever Hobbs, I think her name was. And it didn't even remotely resemble Hillary Clinton. Short glasses. I was like, holy shit. They're getting real desperate now. Just go out on stage. No one will know the difference.
It's crazy. And I guess, if you're awake to the craziness, that's why they say just make sure you're stocked up on popcorn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we need to put that in the survival kit. Popcorn.
Yeah, totally. Right. Well, it is the bottom of the hour, and I do have to go because.
Hang on. You can't go. You promised a sourdough.
Oh shit! Yeah, did too. Sorry. Okay, guys, what you want to do? To make sourdough, you need a sourdough bug. Now, there's a couple of ways you can get a sourdough bug. I'm not going to give you all the recipe today because I've got to give you a reason to come back next week. So there's a couple of ways to get a sourdough bug. You could go down to a bakery that makes sourdough and say, hey, can I have some of your bug? Because every day they have to, you've got to take away from your bug and also feed it, right? So they have a cast off. I can't remember what we used to call it. There's a proper name for it. But you use that to make your bread. That's not enough doppelgangers. No, there's not, Mick. So you use that to make your bread. So you can get a bug from a baker, or you can make one yourself. And making one yourself is really, really easy. So you want to get a decent sized jar, probably a litre jar would be a good start. Put 100 grams of flour, okay? Now, whatever sort of flour you want to make your dough out of. So if you want to do a rye dough as sourdough, then I would suggest doing a blend of 50-50. So 50% or 50 grams strong bread flour and 50 grams of rye, put it together, and 100 mils of water. What are you grateful for?
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Wow.
So 100 grams of water, and just let that sit overnight. Cover it with a little bit of, I'm not going to say Hessian, with calico, or a tea towel, put it over the top of it so that no shit can get in it. This is now going to start to make your yeast. This is where your bread's going to grow from. So the next day, the second day, what you want to do is you want to discard 50% of whatever you've made, right? So discard 50%. So you'll only be left with 50 grams. Well, no, you'll be left with 100 grams because you had 100 grams of water and 100 grams. So you're left with 100 grams, right? Discard 50% of it. Then feed it again with another 100 grams of flour and another 100 mils of water. Again, if you're doing the rye, then 50-50. That's on the second day. On the third day, you discard 100 grams. Discard 100 grams on the second day. Right? No, discard 50% of it. And basically, you continue this for 7 days, right? But you start putting more in. So by the third day, you're putting 200 grams of flour in and 200 mils of water. So you're starting to get quite a big bug. Now, that discard that it's discard. That discard that you get rid of on day 1 and day 2, you can use to make pancakes or whatever you want. You can use it, okay? But by the end of the 7 days, you're going to have a bug that you need to discard and feed every day. If you don't want to discard and feed it every day, then you can discard it once a week and put it in the fridge and then feed it the day before you want to start making your bread. But guys, I'll have more on that next week.
You're going to leave that. You're going to leave what you've just written in the information below, aren't you?
I absolutely will. I'll go and put it in the thing so everybody's got it. I will do exactly that. All right, guys.
Well,
but if you haven't already, like and subscribe the channel so that you can make sure if we do happen to go live. I was going to say simultaneously, but that's not the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for?
Short notice.
Yeah. There's actually a word for it though. Can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm too much bread in my head. But guys, make sure that you do like and subscribe, share it with other people so that they can get into it as well. If you've liked it, then make sure that you leave a thumbs up, and we'll be back same time next week if we're not before. Neil?
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Yeah, no, well, I love coming here and spending quality time with you, Andrew, and everybody else out there, and hopefully that we're making enough sense, and you're on this journey with us. We're certainly. Well, this journey is really just getting started, and we're sort of getting closer and closer to the real start line. There's no coincidence that you're guided to be here. If you're here, you're meant to be here.
Yep.
And for what we've got coming and opportunity moving forwards, I see as nothing short of being massive. And to be able to working in teams of like-minded people where we are around the world. We're not going to go straight into the golden world. We're going to be part of the builders.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, yeah, I guess here we can potentially have those discussions moving forwards. But in the meantime, hey, thanks for being here. Love yous all.
Absolutely.
And let's see us again this time, same back channel next week. If we turn up impromptually before.
Yeah. If there's something coming up, then we're going to we'll jump on and go live anyway. So no, it's not impromptu. It's almost had it. It starts with an S. No, can't think of it. But guys, we'll be back, and next week we're probably going to talk a little bit about the new financial system and where we're going with it. So if you want to know more about that, then certainly by all means tune in. But until then, see you later. Ka kite anō.
See you guys.